Director David Kimosop is also set to be arraigned in court this morning over the 63 billion shillings Road and Kimorer Dams scandal. Let's cross over to the courts and listen in live.
Number 18. Number 19, Boniface Mamboleo, Renvito. Accused number 20, Paolo Cocelli, absent. 21, CMC de Ravena, Dinera, absent. Accused number 22, CMC de Ravena, Dinera, absent.
Yeah, start again. I want you, once you hear your name, just arrange yourself in that order. Start again.
David Kimosop, followed by Elizabeth Benet is coming.
Tell me the number of accused.
David Kimosop, number 1. Elizabeth Benet, accused number 8.
Yes.
Accused number 11, Nelson Colette.
Is he present?
11.
How will we know that you are present? There are so many people. Yeah?
Please respond.
Just respond. Yes. Accused?
That's accused number 11,
Yes.
Nelson Colette. Accused number 12, Isaac Liu. Number 13, Patrick Ipsam.
Yes.
Number 14, Frederick Towet. Number 18, David Walunya. Number 19, Boniface Mamboleo. Number 20, Paolo Cocelli. 21, CMC de Ravena, Dinera. 22, CMC de Ravena, Keneba. David Kimosop, Elizabeth Benet, Nelson Colette, Isaac Liu, Patrick Ipsam, Frederick Towet, David Walunya, Boniface Mamboleo. You have been going to charge conspiracy to defraud contrary to Section 317 of the Penal Code, Chapter 3, Laws of Kenya. And the particulars of the offense is that between 17 December 2014 and 27 September 2018, during conspired jointly with others before the court to unlawfully procure the service of the CMCD Ravena Kinera JB for the development of the Kimorer multipurpose dam project and a purported EPC, which scheme was designed to defraud the government of Kenya $244,422,103.3 cents. David Kimosop, true or not true?
Not true.
Elizabeth Benet, not true. Nelson Colette,
Not true.
Isaac Liu, Patrick Ipsam, Frederick.
Just wait. Patrick Ipsam is accused. 13.
Patrick Ipsam is accused number 13.
Then?
Frederick Towet, accused number 14.
That's true.
David Walunya, accused number 18.
Not true.
Accused number 19, Boniface Mamboleo.
Not true.
Count number 2, David Kimosop, accused number 1. Accused number 2, David Kimosop. You have been charged alongside the accused person in engaging in a project without prior plan contrary to Section 45(2)(c, at least Section 40 of the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act number 3 of 2003. And the particulars of the offense is that between 19 December 2014 and 23 November 2018, within the Republic of Kenya, being the managing director, head of supply chain management, and manager engineering services of the Imperial Valley Development Authority, respectively, being persons whose function concern management of public revenue, engaged in a project for the development of the Kimosop multipurpose dam without prior planning, leading to a loss of €3,075,740.96. David Kitumba Kimosop, this or not easy? Count number 3. David Kitumba Kimosop, William Kitemboy Minor, Paul Kikwet Seren, Francis Chetunga Kiket, Samuel Kimutai Osei, David Juma Onyango, Patrick Kitum, Elizabeth Kebene, Esther Kitukil, Moses Kitumba, Nelson Korea, Isaac Kiru, Patrick Ipsam, Frederick Towet, Jordan Ruto, and Charity Muyo. You have been jointly charged with willful failure to comply with applicable procedures and guidelines relating to public procurement contrary to Section 45 2B as in Section 48 of the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act No. 3 of 2003, and the particulars is that between 19 December 2014 and April 2017, within the Republic of Kenya, being the Managing Director and the members of the Tender Committee of the Kerio Valley Development Authority respectively, whose functions concern the management of public revenue, failed to comply with Section 29 of the Public-Private Partnership Act while procuring an investor to undertake the development of the Kimosop multipurpose dam project. David Kitumba Kimosop, true or not true? Accused number 8, Elizabeth Kebene, true or false? Nelson Korea, accused number 11, true or not true? Accused number 12, Isaac Kiru, true or not true? Accused number 13, Patrick Kipsam. Accused number 14, Frederick Towet. Count number 4. Count number 4. David Kitumba Kimosop. Elizabeth Kebene. Nelson Korir. Isaac Kiru. Patrick Kipsam. Frederick Towet. You have been jointly charged with willful failure to comply with the applicable procedures and guidelines relating to public procurement contrary to Section 45(2) as in Section 48 of the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act No. 3 of 2003. And the particulars of the offense is that between 19 December 2014 and 5th April 2017, within the Republic of Kenya, being the Managing Director and the members of the Tender Committee of the Kerio Valley Development Authority respectively, whose function concern the management of public revenue, failed to comply with the applicable law on public procurement, to which Section 66(2) of the Public Procurement and Disposal Act 2005, by failing to conduct the evaluation as set out in tender document for the development of the Kimosop multipurpose dam project. David Kitumba Kimosop, true or not true? Elizabeth Kebene. Elizabeth Kebene. Accused number 11, Nelson Korir. Accused number 12, Isaac Kiru. Number 13, Patrick Kipsam. Number 14, Frederick Towet. Not true. Count number 5. David Kitumba Kimosop, you have been charged with abuse of office contrary to Section 46 as in Section 48 of the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act No. 3 of 2003. And the particulars of the offense is that on 5th April 2017, within the Republic of Kenya, being the Managing Director, Kerio Valley Development Authority, used your office to improperly confer benefit to CMC the Ravenna Itinera joint venture by unlawfully executing a contract number KVDA/RFP/36/2014 to 2015 for the development of the Kimosop multipurpose dam project, thereby conferring upon the said CMC the Ravenna Itinera joint venture an entity that did not submit a responsive bid. True or not true?
True.
Count number 6, David Kipchumba Kimosop. You have been charged with abuse of office contrary to section 46, Section 48 of the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act number 3 of 2003. And the particular of the offense is that on 5th April 2017, within the Republic of Kenya, being the Managing Director, KVDA Development Authority, used your office to improperly confer a benefit to CMC the Ravenna Itinera joint venture by unlawfully executing a contract number KVDA/RFP/36/2014 to 2015 for the development of Kimosop multipurpose dam, thereby creating an obligation against the government of Kenya to pay a sum of $224,122,163.93 which amount is the total contractual sum for the development of the Kimosop multipurpose dam. Guilty or not guilty? Count number 7, David Kipchumba Kimosop. Accused number 8, Elizabeth Kebenei. Accused number 11, Nelson Correct. Number 12, Isaac Hiro. Number 13, Patrick Kipsang. Number 14, Frederick Towet. You have been jointly charged with willful failure to comply with applicable procedures and guidelines related to public procurement, contrary to section 45 2B, Section 48 of the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act number 3 of 2003. And the particulars of the offense is that between 19 December 2014 and 5th April 2017, within the Republic of Kenya, being the Managing Director and the members of the Tender Committee of the Kerio Valley Development Authority, respectively, whose function concerned the management of public revenue, failed to comply with the law on public procurement, to which section 66(2) of the Public Procurement and Disposal Act 2005, by failing to conduct the evaluation using the procedures set out in the tender document for the development of the Kimosop multipurpose dam project. David Kipchumba Kimosop, true or not true? Elizabeth Kebenei, accused number 8, true or false? Number 11, Nelson Correct. Number 12, Isaac Hiro. Number 13, Patrick Kipsang. Number 14, Frederick Towet. Not true. Count number 8, David Kipchumba Kimosop. You have been charged alongside other 2 accused persons with willful failure to comply with applicable procedures and guidelines relating to management of public funds, contrary to section 45 2A, Section 48 of the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act number 3 of 2003. And the particulars is that on or before December 2014, being the Managing Director, Head of Supply Chain Management and Manager Engineering Service of the Kerio Valley Development Authority, willfully failed to comply with the law to which section 3 of the Public-Private Partnership Act by failing to ensure that a feasibility study was undertaken prior to the initiation of the Kimosop dam project. David Kipchumba Kimosop, true or not true?
Not true.
Count number 9. David Walunya Ungare, Boniface Mamboleo Lembicho. You have been charged with willful neglect to perform official duty contrary to section 128 and 36 of the Penal Code. And the particulars is that between 19 June 2017 and 4th April 2018, within the Republic of Kenya, being officers of the National Environment Management Authority, NEMA, willfully neglected to perform your duties by failing to ensure that the application made for the issuance of the Environmental and Social Impact Assessment License for the development of the Kimosop multipurpose dam project met the conditions set out under Section 63 of the Environmental Management and Coordination Act No. 8 of 1999. David Walunya Ungare, true or not true?
Not true.
Boniface Mamboleo Lembicho, true or not true?
Not true.
That's what I want.
So I've entered pleas of not guilty, respectively. Call the next file.
Call the next file. Just looking at count number 4 and count number 7. And they appear to be the same count, so I don't know whether the prosecution wants to.
Count
Number 4 and count number 7.
Count number 4 and count number 7.
Yes.
So what is the harm? What is the harm that you can probably expect? I have not written anything.
You're not saying that there is any harm.
Yes. But I think Taibas and you've heard that, huh?
Yes, just for good idea.
Just for good order.
We would also like to mention that count number 2 and number 8 are the same. Your Honor has invited us by question as to what harm there is. Your Honor would recall that in your ruling you said the number of counts, count number 2 and count number 8. And number 8. Count number 2 alleges that there is a crime in the sense of conducting a project without prior planning and then it is duplicated at number 8 by saying that it lacked feasibility study, which is in itself a component of prior planning. But we'll take it up with the prosecution, Your Honor, and see where.
Some of these things,
Yes. I just wanted to draw your consciousness, Your Honor, to the aspect of your ruling where you said the number of counts did inform the bail terms that you're giving. And I'm just saying that in response to your question as to what prejudice there would be. We accept that you have already made your ruling on the bail. We will live with those terms. But I just wanted to point out that, Your Honor, that it is our view that the prosecution multiplied the same issue to make our bail terms onerous.
They did not duplicate, they multiplied.
Just for the record, Your Honor.
I've not been recording. This is an administrative issue. Yes.
Just for your information.
Yes.
Counts 2 and 8 are completely different. The sections quoted are different. The accused quoted are different. The allegations are different. But we will go through thoroughly.
Yes.
And where we are satisfied that there is either a typographical error, we will amend that. Where we are satisfied that there has been a repetition, we will also do the necessary.
Mr. Keegan, bring that up during pre-trial. Because it's now a pre-trial issue, a preliminary pre-trial issue, just bring it up.
Thank you.
We will deal with it.
Thank you very much.
Yes. So can we move to the second file?
Yes, Your Honor, but I have a request. I don't mean to make this thing very laborious, Your Honor, but I have already explained to the prosecution, my client, the 11th accused, he is under medication, and it is difficult for him to stand for long because on drugs. I was very kindly requesting if he can remain seated in the course of and he's with the doctor, and I've been advised that if he could just remain seated.
I don't expect objection to that.
Absolutely no.
Yes.
Absolutely not.
Call number, is it 19?
Number 19. Article out of case number 19 of 2019. Accused number 1, David Kitumba Kimosop. David Kitumba Kimosop. Accused number 8, Elizabeth Kebenei. Accused number 11, Nelson Korir. Accused number 12, Isaac Kiru. Accused number 13, Patrick Kipsang. Accused number 14, Frederick Towet. 18, David Walunya Ongare. 19.
Just a moment. In court, it's just like in class. When you are called, you respond. You may, if you miss responding, I may mark you absent and I will issue a warrant of arrest. Because it's not all the time I'm looking up. Yeah? Start again.
David Kitumba Kimosop.
Present.
Yes.
Accused number 2, Elizabeth Kebenei.
Number 8.
Number 8, Elizabeth Kebenei. Accused number 11, Nelson Korir. You can remain seated. You have been excused by the court. Accused number 12, Isaac Kiru. Number 13, Patrick Kipsang. Number 14, Frederick Towet. Number 18, David Walunya Ongare. Number 19, Boniface Mamboleo. You have been charged with conspiracy to defraud contrary to section 317 of the Penal Code.
Does it still remain the same, Deputy? For the defense also the same?
Case number 2022, Mr. Nam is now present.
Okay, go on to read the
You have been charged with conspiracy to defraud contrary to Section 317 of the Penal Code, Chapter 63, Laws of Kenya. And the particulars of the offense is that between 17 December 2014 and 27 September 2018, conspired jointly with others before the court to unlawfully procure the service of the CMC de Ravenna Itinera JV for the development of Aurora Multipurpose Dam Project under purported EPC, which scheme was designed to defraud the government of Kenya US dollars 277,407,605.50 cents. David Kipchumba Kimosop, true or not true? Accused number 8, Elizabeth Kebenei, true or not true? Accused number 11, Nelson Korir. Accused number 12, Isaac Kiru. Accused number 13, Patrick Kipsang. Accused number 14, Frederick Towet. Accused number 18, David Walunya. Accused number 19, Boniface Mamboleo. Count number 2, David Kipchumba Kimosop. You have been charged alongside 2 accused persons with engaging in a project without prior planning contrary to Section 45(2)(c), as read in Section 48 of the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act number 3 of 2003. And the particulars is that between 19th December 2014 and 23rd November 2018, within the Republic of Kenya, being the Managing Director, Head of Supply Chain Management, and Manager Engineering Service of the Kerio Valley Development Authority respectively, being person whose function concern management of public revenue, engaged in a project for the development of the Aurora Multipurpose Dam Project without prior planning, leading to a loss of euros 93,075,714.96 cents. David Kipchumba Kimosop, true or not true? Count number 3, David Kipchumba Kimosop. Accused number 8, Elizabeth Kebenei. Number 11, Nelson Korir. Number 12, Isaac Kiru. Patrick Kipsang. Frederick Towet. You have been charged with willful failure to comply with applicable procedures and guidelines related to public procurement, contrary to Section 45(2)(b), as read in Section 48 of the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act number 3 of 2003. And the particulars is that between 19 December 2014 and 5th April 2017, within the Republic of Kenya, being the Managing Director and the members of the Tender Committee of the Kerio Valley Development Authority respectively, whose function concerned the management of public revenue, failed to comply with Section 29 of the Public-Private Partnership Act while procuring an investor to undertake the development of the Aurora Multipurpose Dam Project. David Kipchumba Kimosop, guilty or not guilty? Not guilty. Accused number 8, Elizabeth Kebenei. Accused number 11, Nelson Korir. Accused number 12, Isaac Kiru. Accused number 13, Patrick Kipsang. Accused number 14, Frederick Towet. Count number 4, David Kipchumba Kimosop. Elizabeth Kebenei. Nelson Korir. Isaac Kiru. Patrick Kipsang. Frederick Towet. You have been charged alongside other accused persons with willful failure to comply with the applicable procedures and guidelines relating to public procurement, contrary to Section 45(2)(b), as read in Section 48 of the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act number 3 of 2003. And the particulars is that between 19 December 2015 and 5th April 2017, within the Republic of Kenya, being the Managing Director and the members of the Tender Committee of the Kerio Valley Development Authority, respectively, whose functions concern the management of public revenue, failed to comply with the law on public procurement, to which Section 66(2) of the Public Procurement and Disposal Act 2005, by failing to conduct the evaluation as set out in the tender document for the development of the Aror Multipurpose Dam Project. David Kiptumba Kimosop, true or not true? Accused number 8, Elizabeth Kebenei. Accused number 11, Nelson Korir. Accused number 12, Isaac Kiru. Accused number 13, Patrick Kipsang. Accused number 14, Frederick Towet. Count number 5, David Kiptumba Kimosop. You have been charged with abuse of office contrary to Section 46, as stated in Section 48 of the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act number 3 of 2003. And the particulars of the offense is that on 5th April 2017, within the Republic of Kenya, being the Managing Director, Kerio Valley Development Authority, used your office to improperly confer benefit to CMC Di Ravenna Itinera joint venture by unlawfully executing contract number KVDA/RFP/36/2014 to 2015 for the development of Aror Multipurpose Dam Project, thereby conferring upon the said CMC Di Ravenna Itinera joint venture an entity that did not submit a responsive bid. True or not true? Count number 6, David Kiptumba Kimosop. You have been charged with abuse of office contrary to Section 46, as stated in Section 48 of the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act number 3 of 2003. And the particulars of the offense is that on 5th April 2017, within the Republic of Kenya, being the Managing Director, Kerio Valley Development Authority, used your office to improperly confer a benefit to CMC Di Ravenna Itinera joint venture by unlawfully executing a contract number KVDA/RFP/36/2014 to 2015 for the development of Aror Multipurpose Dam, thereby creating an obligation against the government of Kenya to pay a sum of $277,407,605.50, which amount is the total contractual sum for the development of Aror Multipurpose Dam Project. True or not true? Count number 7, David Kiptumba Kimosop, Elizabeth Kebenei, Nelson Korir, Isaac Kiru, Patrick Kipsang, Frederick Towet. You have been charged along other accused persons with willful failure to comply with the applicable procedures and guidelines relating to public procurement contrary to Section 45 2B, as stated in Section 48 of the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act number 3 of 2003. And the particulars is that between 19 December 2014 and 5th April 2017, within the Republic of Kenya, being the Managing Director and the members of the Tender Committee of the Kerio Valley Development Authority, respectively, whose function concern the management of public revenue, failed to comply with the law on public procurement, to which Section 66(2) of the Public Procurement and Disposal Act 2005, by failing to conduct the evaluation using the procedures set out in the tender document for the development of the Aror Multipurpose Dam Project. David Kiptumba, true or not true?
True.
Accused number 8, Elizabeth Kebenei. Accused number 11, Nelson Korir. Accused number 12, Isaac Kiru. Number 13, Patrick Kipsang. Number 14, Frederick Towet. Count number 8. David Walunya Ongare, Boniface Mamboleo Lengisho. You have been charged with another accused person with willful neglect to perform official duty contrary to sections 128 and section 36 of the Penal Code. And the particulars of the offense is that between June 2017 and 4th April 2018, within the Republic of Kenya, being the officers of the National Environment Management Authority, NEMA, willfully neglected to perform their official duties by failing to ensure that the application made for the issuance of the environmental and social impact assessment license for the development of the Arraigned multipurpose dam project met the conditions set out under Section 63 of the Environmental Management and Coordination Act number 8 of 1999. David Walunya Ungare, true or not true?
Not true.
Boniface Mamboleo Lengisho?
Not true.
That's all, John.
So I've entered pleas of not guilty respectively. Call the next file. Yes.
I have a request, Your Honor. In respect to accused number 11, Your Honor, as I explained in the last sitting, the 11th accused has just been brought from hospital and needed to be accompanied by a doctor who is present in court. Your Honor, the expectation is that they would be taken to the basement as they work on their bail. He already made a payment for his cash bail and has surrendered his passport. I was very kindly requesting for the accommodation that he be allowed to remain seated in court as he is being processed. His release order is being processed. I have communicated that request to the prosecution, who have very kindly agreed to accommodate me on account of that treatment. The second one, Your Honor, on the same say 11th accused, is that in your order you had required that the accused persons that have not taken plea need to submit their fingerprints and to be processed by the DCI. I have made the request to the investigating officer, and he agrees that the 11th accused can come back. I will coordinate with them when he can submit his fingerprints, when his medical condition can allow his availability for that purpose. I therefore also request for suspension of the requirement that his release be subject to him calling on the DCI to submit his fingerprints and be processed. I make those two requests, that he be allowed to remain seated in court and that his fingerprints be taken on a later date.
Mr. Tate?
Your Honor, we have no objection. We leave it to the court.
Live proceedings from the Milimani Law Court there. Former Managing Director of the Kerio Valley Development Authority, David Kimosop, in court with his co-accused, who are among the 28 suspects set to be prosecuted over the 63 billion shilling Arror and Kimorer dams scandal. Kimosop and his co-accused there answering to various charges, among them conspiracy to defraud the Kenyan government, also charges of abuse of office, engaging in a project without further planning, among others. Kimosop and company there pleading not guilty to majority of those charges. Their lawyers, of course, waiting to see if they will be granted bail. Now, David Kimosop remains one of the high-profile individuals who are yet to be arraigned in court over the matter after former Treasury Cabinet Secretary Henry Rotich and his PS Kamau Thuge there were arraigned in court facing the same charges. He was arrested on Friday morning at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport following his arrival from Tanzania. Let's continue listening in.
The defendant has his release is being processed due to his medical condition that is evident, and further for the same accused to be exempted to report to the DCI for processing till his health is improved, and the same not being opposed, I order as follows: accused 11 to remain in court as his documents for release on bond are being processed. Number 2, he is hereby exempted from reporting to the DCI till his medical condition can allow the relevant IO to make a follow-up.
Thank you very much.
Call out the next one.
And for case number 20 of 2019.
Call out the
David Kimosop, Jackson Daud Nyandwi, Titus Muridi, that is the accused number. David Kitumba accused number 4, Jackson Jao accused number 6, and Titus Muridi accused number 7.
yes. For the DPP.
Correct.
About these other three, they're not being called. They're absent. So, has it been noted?
Who appears for the defense in this one specifically?
If it uses Your Honor,
Yes.
Andrew and Lamport, 6 accused persons.
Yes.
My learned colleague, Mr. John Juguna, appears for the 7.
Mr.
John Juguna appears for the 7 accused persons. And my learned friend, Mr. Katwa and Ms. Mudeu appear for the 4th accused person. With Ms. Mudeu appear for the 4th accused person.
Appearing with Mr. Nyamongo. Appearing with Mr. Nyamongo. For the 8th accused person. 8th, 9th, and 10th accused persons.
Yes.
So we have an application in this one. Which actually affects all the other files where my clients have been mentioned. We found it in this particular file because this is the file that was holding the ruling.
Yeah.
It was the file that was holding the ruling
on bail terms. And Your Honor, we would be requesting for directions as to how to proceed, because the issues that we're raising in our application actually affects other accused persons. They've been mentioned as interested parties in our application, and also they have been served with the application. They have been just served with the application as well. The other accused persons in this file. And so we'll be requesting for directions from the court in regards to hearing of our application.
Where is the application? Mr. Tape.
May it please you, Your Honor, we have just now been given a copy of the application that my learned friend has filed on behalf of one Paolo Porcelli, who is mentioned therein as the applicant. As far as we are concerned, Your Honor, Mr. Porcelli is nothing more than a fugitive from justice. And we see this repeatedly being demonstrated by foreigners who feel themselves are above the law and who consider themselves undignified in their appearance before our courts. I take personal offense as an officer of this court to having a foreign subject refuse to appear before this honorable court. Mr. Porcelli and the 21st and 22nd accused persons, the Italian companies, failed, refused, and or neglected to present themselves before this court on Tuesday last week. Prior to that, they failed, refused, and neglected to present themselves before the DCI the day before. Learned counsel for Mr. Porcelli actually submitted to this court on Tuesday that he had authority to pick up the summons and serve Mr. Porcelli to appear today. But he has changed the tune now. And that is unacceptable, Your Honor. It should also be unacceptable to this honorable court. Because what is at stake is not simply the inability or the alleged inability of an accused person to appear before this court, but in essence the refusal of the accused person, Paolo Porcelli, to submit himself before the authority of this court. Your Honor, the DPP has specifically instructed us to do everything possible to ensure that this case proceeds without any delay. But when it comes to the 11th hour applications such as this, we shall not concede. Our position, Your Honor, and what we urge you to find is that Mr. Porcelli is a fugitive from justice. He failed to present himself to the DCI. He failed to present himself before this honorable court on Tuesday last week. And despite being given the opportunity to do so, has again repeated that failure and not presented himself either to the DCI or to this court today. You should, without hesitation, issue warrants for his arrest and production before this court. No African or Kenyan can behave this way before an Italian court and get away with such behavior. But they believe that they can come to our country, rip off our people, conduct themselves against the law, and refuse to appear before this court. And do you know why, Your Honor? They believe nothing will come out of it. They believe this in the deepest recesses of their hearts, that nothing will happen. They can break the law and they can get away with it contemptuously. Don't allow them to do that, Your Honor. Finally, Your Honor, if the applicant is interested in the hearing of this application, today is not the day that was set aside for this application. We should be given adequate time to prepare our response to this application. A date should be given for the hearing of this application if they insist, and the Honorable Court will make its ruling based on the submissions made by the parties. But today was a day for plea taking. And for those who have absented to themselves from this court a second time, we strongly urge the court to issue the warrants for their arrest and production without any hesitation whatsoever. Thank you all.
Mr. Nami?
Your Honor, I'm being asked by Melanie Senior about the rest of the process that the
It's your application, proceed.
we are actually quite disappointed by the tone and tenor of the learned senior's response to the filing of this application. We say this because learned senior concedes that he has just seen this application, but he proceeds to make assertions in regards to the character of the applicant, and essentially summons the very emotive issue of race as a reason for this application. Your Honor, that is very unfortunate, especially from my learned senior and from the state to take such a position. Because at the end of the day, our Constitution doesn't only protect Kenyans, it also protects all persons, citizens of the world. Our Constitution is one of the most, in the world actually, it's one of the most robust in terms of provisions in respect to human rights. And therefore, we take great exception by the position that this application has been filed because there is a lack of respect for the Kenyan people and a lack of respect for this court. Quite to the contrary, and without arguing the application, Your Honor, if you look at the basis of the application, it is founded on provisions that protect both Kenyans and foreigners who are brought before this court as accused persons. And those provisions, Your Honor, are to be activated prior to plea taking, not consequent to plea taking. The provisions that we're relying on in the application are there to protect both Kenyan and foreign accused persons and are to be activated prior to plea taking and not consequent to plea taking. On the issue of the summons and our undertaking and our offer actually wasn't an undertaking, it was an offer to collect the summons and serve them. If I recall, Your Honor, and maybe the record will bear me true, is when the offer was made, no subsequent acceptance was taken either by the accused or by this court. We made the offer, but even in the ruling that this court rendered, there was no reference to our offer of collecting the summons. So, in a nutshell, Your Honor, we do not want to ambush the prosecution. I'm sure my learned colleagues who are also representing the defendants, the accused persons, would want to have a look at the contents of our application. So in regards to time for them to prepare themselves and for us to come back, that is in order. We will not object to that. The only thing is, for us, we are not trying to delay this process. We are actually trying to ensure that the proper procedure is being followed in this matter. It is a sensitive matter. Our clients take very seriously the charges that they are facing, but they want to have it very clear. What exactly are they facing? That is all the accused person, the applicant in this case, is asking. So if my learned senior and the state want time, we do not object to time. But let us not dismiss this application on account of arguments founded on race and discrimination. Your Honor.
Just a minute. Sit down a bit, Mr. Tate. Now, Mr. Anami, address me on the issue of jurisdiction to hear your application.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
Your Honor, as far as we are concerned, We have been instructed by the applicant.
Addressing the issue of jurisdiction.
I don't understand the question, Your Honor.
Plea has not been taken.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
That's the basis of this application, because it's supposed to come prior to the taking, Your Honor. So, and that's really what we're saying. If you look at even the criminal judge bench book, and I think paragraph 40, it makes reference to a situation whereby a party, an accused person, has an objection to raise in regards to a charge sheet. And in that instance, he is supposed to raise that objection before the plea is taken, not after. And it is actually in the book, in the criminal judge bench book, it makes reference to section 275 of the Criminal Procedure Code. So it is founded in law, this application. It is not a spurious application at all.
Also address me on the issue of that subject. Yeah? Pursuant to the rules, the pre-trial rules published in 2015.
Yes.
Yes. Address me on that subject.
Again, I don't understand the question. What subject?
Have you read the pre-trial rules?
What subject are we talking about, Your Honor? I'm not understanding.
The issue of raising objections on plea.
Yes.
Pursuant to the Mutunga rules.
Yes.
On pre-trial. Let me hear from you. The 2015 rules.
I stand guided by the court. Unless you point me to a specific provision, I have not seen it.
Have you read the rules?
Refer me to the specific rule, Your Honor.
No, have you read the rules?
Yes, I have, but I want you to refer me to the specific rule and guide me in regards to this.
On the issue of raising preliminary objections on plea, according to those rules, what do they say?
That's what I'm requesting, Your Honor.
No, I can't tell you. Have you read those rules?
Yes, I have.
What do they say?
Well, they are quite substantive. And they come
Counsel, what do they say?
So I request you to guide me.
You know, it's always good to eat humble pie if you are not aware about a provision that is...
I'm asking for your guidance.
No.
I'm not purporting to say that I know, and I'm asking you, please guide me. Because as you can notice, I'm a young advocate. So if you can guide me and show me where the rule is, I'll be guided on that.
Counsel, are you serious?
Second?
Are you serious? You want me to go, you want us to go back to class?
Life is a lesson. We're constantly learning.
Okay.
I'm one who's always open to learning new things. Yes, you are.
Okay. I wish you had told me you are not sure about what they say. It would have been better. Sometimes it's good to shoot straight, eh?
That's exactly what I mean.
No. I'm disappointed.
But requesting for your guidance, that's exactly
I'm disappointed because if there are rules that govern a certain scenario published in the Kenya Gazette, the court is asking you whether you are aware. You are saying you are aware and you can't respond. Yes. What do you expect the court to do?
Guide.
You need guidance.
That's what I'm asking. Guide.
Okay. Briefly, Mr. Taib, if you can.
Your Honor, our objection is very simply this. Why is Mr. Porcelli not present in court? He may make his application or not make his application, but he must first be present in court. Nowhere does it say that by filing an application and serving it to us on the morning of the trial, that the accused person may then proceed to absent himself from the court. Learned counsel for the accused person took the warrants and served them on his client. He is therefore aware that he must present himself to court today. Why is he not in court? That question has not been answered. And this application is not an excuse for not being in court. He should have attended and made his application. And therefore warrants ought to issue, Your Honor.
Your Honor, let me just respond to that. I think, again, my learned senior is misrepresenting facts. I never collected any warrants or summons from the state, unless it's referring to another country. But I have not done any such thing in regards to this one. Furthermore, the reference to Mr. Pocelli's attendance before this court is actually a right that accrues to the accused. Yes. And that's an argument that we want to address you. The right for the attendance of the accused person is a right that accrues to the accused person. It is not necessarily, and again, we draw your attention to the Judge Criminal Bench and Article 52F of the Constitution. Again, these are arguments that we are happy to engage with the state in regards to. But we are taking the direction that this court and even the state has requested, the state has requested for time to look at the application.
No, sir. No, sir. Let me clear the air. We are saying our responding to this application is a separate issue for which we require time. But this application has nothing to do with the absence of the accused person in court. Now, is Learned Counsel changing his position? Because he requested this court to be allowed to take the summons and serve them on his client. This court granted him that. If he failed to do what he asked for, we are not to blame.
It is the latest on the multi-billion dams scandal in the country. Their former Kerio Valley Development Authority Managing Director David Kimosop has also been charged in court alongside 7 others over the 63 billion shilling dams scandal. He is among those 8 suspects that had yet to be arraigned after last week's arrest and charging of more than 10 other suspects, including former National Treasury Cabinet Secretary Henry Rotich and his ex-Principal Secretary Kamau Thuge. Kimosop there being arrested on Friday morning among the high-profile individuals that were yet to be arraigned in court. But we're seeing an altercation in court there with the prosecution taking note of the fact that Paolo Pocelli, who is a top executive of CMC di Ravenna, the Italian firm that was awarded this tender, has failed to show up in court. The prosecution taking that very strictly, saying that Mr. Pocelli, instead having sent in an application asking for a different date, an application that they say has absolutely nothing really to do with his absence in court. They are asking why he failed to honor that court process. We're waiting to hear what the judge is likely to say on that and on the way forward as well for the 8 suspects who are before him this morning. Remember, when this case went to court on Tuesday last week, we had the former Treasury Cabinet Secretary and his PS there released on 15 million shillings a cash bail or a bond of 50 million shillings. So we are waiting to hear the way forward. The prosecution saying it is the wish of the DPP that this case continues as quick as possible. This case, of course, emanating from the DPP's revelations on Monday last week that there was sufficient evidence to prosecute 28 individuals over the Arraigned and Kimosop dams scandal there. He says that the Kerio Valley Development Authority, for example, disregarded public procurement laws, resulting in massive loss of public funds. A contract between KVDA and the Italian firm CMC di Ravenna showing the project pegged at 46 million shillings. But it is said the Treasury, or the government rather, through the National Treasury, ended up paying 17 billion shillings more, coming to a total of 63 billion shillings. But even then, KVDA, for example, being in trouble with the MD facing charges such as engaging in a project without further planning, it was revealed that the Italian firm only submitted technical designs in February this year, and that is 4 years after entering into the alleged contract with the KVDA. So it remains to be seen what more evidence the Director of Criminal Investigations as well has on this case. But as I mentioned, 28 individuals there said to be arraigned. 10 were arraigned last week, 8 more having been arraigned this week. We keep an eye out for the rest who have not shown themselves in court. The prosecution taking quite an issue with that. The Italian firm, CMC di Ravenna, at the same time absolving itself of any wrongdoing in this issue, even as the Director of Public Prosecutions makes the request for the arrest of Kenyan officials, including, as I mentioned, former Treasury Cabinet Secretary Henry Rotich. His arrest sparking quite the debate across the country, with many lauding the revived or renewed war on corruption. Others, however, citing political reasons as to why this might have happened, saying it could be targeting for 2022 succession politics. But the court process there continues. The latest being bringing the number now to 18 who have appeared before court, and the 8 that have appeared this morning, including David Kimosop, have faced 8 charges, same as those who appeared last week. Among them, I mentioned earlier, engaging in a project without further planning. There are also charges of abuse of office, conspiracy to defraud the Kenyan government, among others. All 8 of them pleading not guilty to these charges. We continue following up on those proceedings there live from the Milimani courts. That is live from the Milimani Law Course, waiting for the judge there to make his decision, with the prosecution lawyer Taib Ali Twaib there asking the court to declare one Paolo Pocelli, CEO of CMC de Ravenna, as a fugitive for failing to appear in court for the second time. We are following up on these proceedings right here on KTN News in the way only we can. Do stay with us. More news on the other side.